What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back with another episode of the 5 takeaways, where we take a look at yesterday's, I was going to say game, but absolute mess of a game yesterday. 3-0 loss to Crystal Palace, where we take a look at yesterday's game and we see what we can take from it. So we've picked out 5 takeaways, and let's get straight into it with the first takeaway. Shot shy Spurs.
Yeah, didn't have many shots yesterday, did we, Tottenham? We had 2 shots.
I think that's an understatement.
2 shots the whole game, only 1 on target, both of them from Lucas Moura in the second half. This was a consequence also of only have 4 shot-creating actions. A shot-creating action is basically a dribble or a pass or a shot that leads to a shot, basically. We only had 4 of them throughout the whole game. We only had 4 passes that potentially led to a shot. It was really, really poor. It's by far our lowest of the season. Our next lowest was 12, which was at Wolves. We only had 4 yesterday, so it shows how much lower we were in terms of creating anything. It was really, really poor from Tottenham, and it's something Nuno has to really think about addressing, because we can't carry on like that.
Yeah, completely right. And it was just wrong. The setup was all wrong yesterday from start to finish, and that definitely compounded to our creativity problems as well, which moves us on to our second takeaway, which is Mo press, Mo problems. In the famous words of Biggie, right?
It's interesting looking at the stats yesterday, because you would think maybe our pressing would have been less than in other games. We actually pressed Palace 195 times throughout the game yesterday, which is more than we've pressed any other team throughout the season. We also pressed Palace in the attacking third 42 times, which is also more than any other game. However, what was down was the percentage of how many times the press was successful, and the percentage was our lowest of the season, a 19% success rate, which with comparison against Man City, our press was successful 28% of the time. That shows it was like a 10% drop off in how successful our press was. It shows it doesn't matter how it's not about the amount of times you press, it's about quality, exactly, and how you do it, and you do it as a unit. And I think it was just all over the place, really. When players tried to press, they did it, but weren't doing it in packs. They weren't doing it coordinated. It was very much the press structure was all off, and that goes to show it. And
that was a big problem of us under Jose Mourinho last season, where just single players will go and press just willy-nilly, and no players backing them up. And like you say, when we were at our prime with Pochettino, we were hunting in packs. We were working as a complete team, going forward and defending. Yesterday, it seemed like we were only working as a team defending, but not going forward, and that was definitely contributed to our massive downfall yesterday.
And also, it tires out the players who are. If you're just pressing as a not coordinated, then if no one's following up, then all of a sudden you've got more work to do, because if someone bypasses your press, if no one's following up, you have to go and press that player again, and so you just end up tiring yourself out. And I think we even saw that with Lucas Moura, who was doing so much great work in the first half, but then he just couldn't keep it up. He was just too tired, and naturally he was going to run out of energy, and that's what happened.
All right, let's move on to our third takeaway, and that is false position.
Yeah, so Spurs, obviously have won 3 wins of their first 4 games, which sounds all right, but when you drill into a bit of the stats, Spurs have the 5th lowest expected goals in the league so far, and also the 5th highest expected goals against. It shows despite Spurs making a good start, the results don't look sustainable when you look at the expected goals. Spurs had an XG yesterday of 0.08,
wow,
which is only the 3rd lowest of the season. Second lowest of the season. Only Norwich away to Man City when they lost 5-0, their 0.03 was lower. Even Arsenal, when they lost 5-0 to City, had a higher XG than we did yesterday, 0.12, which really goes to show how much we lacked threat. We had less threat yesterday than a 10-man Arsenal against City. That's how much we lacked threat. I think that's mad when you think about it.
I'm just trying to
internalize that.
Yeah, wow, that is absolutely nuts. That is nuts, because when we looked at that Man City Arsenal game, Arsenal had nothing.
Nothing. And we had less threat than that yesterday.
That's blew me away, that one.
Yeah.
Really has. Wow. I'm lost for words. I really am. I'm lost for words. I don't know what to say anymore. That's awful. That really is awful. And
shocking.
And I think that you're right, in terms of the first 3 games, it was unsustainable. You can't keep just going on 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Yes, the Man City game, we looked very good. Wolves, We were very lucky to get away from that one. And Watford, yeah, we were in control for the majority of the game, but still, we couldn't put away our chances, and we weren't.
We only scored from a cross that accidentally went in. Anyway.
Exactly. So we never even scored a proper goal that game. So it is worrying. We need to pick it up quickly. And I think that the key to picking that up is Tanguy Ndombele. I believe that.
And that should lead on to the next thing, actually.
And let's move over to the fourth takeaway, and that is lack of progression.
So this is in terms of progressing in midfield. And there was clearly a problem in terms of when we got the ball in midfield. We didn't really, the three players, Skip, Winks, Hoyt, they didn't really know what to do with it. And the stats also bear this out. Spurs midfield progressed the ball the shortest distance of any game this season, and and also the shortest, also the lowest amount of times we progressed the ball, the lowest amount of times this season. We only completed 15 progressive passes throughout the game. Palace completed 36 progressive passes. That's passes in between the lines, forward into dangerous positions. We only did it 15 times. For reference, Arsenal away at Man City progressed the ball 11 times. We only did it 4 more times than that throughout that game. It shows a real lack of quality and forward-thinking midfield players really holding us back. We weren't able to progress the ball or carry the ball as well. The amount of distance we carried the ball with the players in terms of dribbling ability was the shortest distance of any team this season, and the shortest distance of any time Tottenham have done it this season. So it shows how much we're lacking Lo Celso and Ndombele in that centre carrying the ball forward. And also, what also bears this out as well is that Palace pressed us 86 times in the middle third of the pitch yesterday, which was 19 more times than any other team has done it to us this season. So it really shows there was an element of the team they really targeted the middle third. They pressed us because they know we had no answer if they pressed us, pretty much, and we didn't.
Yeah, and you could see that with your own eyes on the pitch. I mean, it was just a clear lack of, progressiveness from the middle of the park, lack of creativity, and it's been a problem all season. It really has. But let's move on to the last takeaway, and that is a Royal debut.
Yeah, so looking at Emerson Royal's debut, obviously we know he struggled. Just from looking at the game, he struggled. But looking at the stats, it was a bit more mixed. He didn't have the best of it, but there was a few positives, I guess. He only completed 71% of his passes, which was the 4th lowest in the team, which wasn't particularly good. Only completed 1 cross and had 0 dribbles throughout the game, which is not something we expected from an offensive fullback. And he also did get dribbled past 3 times throughout the game, which was one of the highest in the game. However, he did lead the way in the team with tackles, 5 tackles throughout the game, and also led the way for clearances, 8 clearances throughout the game, which is more than any player on the pitch. And he won 6 of his 11 duels, so not all terrible, but definitely a lot to improve on after it was pretty much really poor. But at least there was some, defensively, he did do some good stuff, I guess.
Some, yeah. He did, but Zaha did tear him a new one at times during the game yesterday, and I think that when I was watching the game yesterday, I just was looking at him thinking, you're struggling. That's what I was thinking, and I think that he was just kind of thrown into the deep end. I think Nuno could have helped him out a bit, but that wasn't the case. But look, it was his debut. I'm not going to mark him down too much, seeing it as his first game in English football. But I do think that there are kind of, he's got the like we always say for Davinson Sanchez, right? Like, he's got all the attributes to succeed and all the attributes to be a top defender. I think Emerson Royal has the top attributes and has the attributes to become a top fullback in the Premier League. He's big, he's strong. From what I've seen, he can cross the ball. Obviously, he didn't do that yesterday, but I think that he's got the attributes to succeed. We just need to see him succeed now.
It's only one game. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not going to mark him too much on it. So that is our 5 takeaways. I want to know your takeaways in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree with our takeaways? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.